Right, so as promised, today we're going to put on the LED indicators to the rear of the 0S. So you see the existing indicators here. I'm going to swap those out. It's going to involve taking the seat off, taking the tail assembly off, and just swapping those over. So it shouldn't be too tricky. Very similar to the front. I know what I'm doing now, so hopefully fairly quick. And yeah, this is how you do it. So first things first, we're going to take out the seat. So there are two bolts. Here's one, same on the other side. And the seat should come out. We see some of the high voltage stuff there. We're going to avoid that very carefully. And then up here we've got the actual assembly here. So we're going to chop some cable ties, pull this out. Obviously being very careful not to chop the wires. We should get to the indicator connectors down there. Okay, so looking at these, the 3-pin connector, 3 wires, goes to the tail light and brake light. The brown and black is the number plate light or license plate light, and the set of 4 are the indicators. So these are ones that we'll need to thread through to connect to later. You can also see there's quite a nice big space here, so it'll be easy to put all of the load resistors for the LEDs. So that'll be good. Next step is getting the tail. Okay, so despite what I said earlier, I don't think you actually need to take the tail off to get to this. In my case, it's not been taken off before, so it's actually really stiff. So I'm going to try and avoid it if I can. So if you look here, that's where you should be able to see that. That's where the hole is for the cable to go through. Yep. So basically, we have to take off the 2 indicators that are here already. It's just a hex driver if that fits in, otherwise some pliers. And poke it through. So that should be next. We've got the hole in there for them to pop through. Basically not going to be able to see this, the camera's not going to fit, but yeah, just down in there. So we'll poke them through. Got the new indicators here. So yeah, exactly the same as the previous set, the Oxford signal one. Got the load resistors and the signals. So yeah, we'll try and get the previous set out, poke the wires back through, and see where we get. Okay, so I've now got the LED one roughly mounted. Poke the cables back up through. Now I'm just going to have to fish those through in there. So pliers again. It's a very common tool with zeros, it seems. Fish these through now and just fit the load resistor on there. Give it a quick test. Obviously we need to do the sort of slight crushing of the connectors to get them to fit onto the 0 connectors. Not unexpected now given the first set. Floating in the breeze there for a second and we'll see if it works. So this is the standard bulb. And there's the indicator. So there's the LED. Okay, so we'll get the other one mounted, and should be pretty good. Okay, so got all that connected. Next step is to mount everything. So I'm going to reassemble the wires and cable tie those where they were. On the side here, these bits are metal, so what I'm going to do is just take some cable ties and cable tie those round inside the frame, and that way any heat that these do generate will be away from all the plastics and other wiring, so they can just be cable tied there and everything else will just cable tied back where it was. So yeah, not too difficult to install, just slightly fiddly getting the wires through, so fish those through with some pliers and a few more finishing steps, and it'll all be done. Right, so we've got all this cable tied in nicely. This is not going to go anywhere, so now I just need to put the seat back on, and I'm going to do a bit of preventative maintenance on the tail just to make sure that stuff doesn't rust given it's new untreated metal. So we get the seat back on with the same 2 very long bolts on either side, and sort out the tail. Quite helpfully here, if you look, there's actually a white mark on both the bolt and the frame that they must have put on when they manufactured it, so actually it shows you where the bolt needs to be for its correct torque setting. yes, I could use a torque wrench and put it all on correctly, but actually it feels as tight as it came off, and it lines up, so it should be about right. So yes, now the seat's all back on, we'll move on to the tail. So there's two things I'm going to do. First things first, I'm going to get some ACF 50, it's in a spray can, which is essentially just going to stop it rusting back there, because this is completely exposed to anything from the wheel spraying up. And also the holes that the cabling went through, I'm actually going to put a little bit of hot glue on there, just to hopefully bung that up a little bit, because this bike's not even that old, and there's already quite a lot of mud and stones in that section under the seat. So hopefully that will stop any more water or stones or anything getting up in there. So if anything, this is going to be that's not only for the indicators, but sort of hopefully prevent any more stones and grit getting up there. Anyway, so get the hot glue gun out and get that done. Okay, so this is the stuff. It's called ACF 50. It's good anti-corrosion, used for lots of things apparently, but very good on motorbikes. I've done quite a few of the exterior bolts already, but obviously have to recoat these, so yeah, just get on with that and job should be done. Right then, job's done. I've got both indicators mounted, got all the hot glue and ACF all sorted, so it should all be waterproof now, slightly better than before. Everything's treated, and they work really well, so I'll give you a quick demo. So obviously now the instant on off, and as I said in the previous video on the front indicators, I think it looks at least as bright, but it seems to be the camera suggests it might be a bit less. Anyway, so there we go, that's hazard. So that's the rears done as well, so not much more to do on this now. A few more things coming that are more sort of official mods, but that should be a week or two's time, I think, when that's all done. So I'll keep you posted on that and show you some more mods. If you've got any questions, chuck them in the comments, and thanks for watching.